Cut. Fucking cut.
Now I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go purchase one. That's the problem.
This ain't for me. I was like,
the background is mom and dad was addicted to crack cocaine. Okay. Right?
All praises to the Most High. Hi, how are you? Welcome to another episode of the Doc Holliday Show, where we love to uplift black men, black woman, black teen, black child, black royalty, the magically melanated. Today, I'm joined by black royalty for real. Another black royal, magically melanated royal, Miss Devone Gainey. How you doing, Miss Gainey?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
I'm sorry, Miss Devone Gainey, Miss Black Tennessee. First of all, Miss Gainey, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell the people about yourself. Let's talk about the sash first, because she come in here sashed up. So she solidified Miss Black Tennessee. Tell us about the sash. When were you crowned Miss Black Tennessee?
I officially got my title the 1st of April.
Of this year?
Of this year, yeah.
I know. So what do you have to do to become Miss Black Tennessee? What was that process? Pageant, competition?
Well, yes, it's a very competitive process, and so you have to fill out an application. Also, you have to make sure that you fit the requirements, like as far as residency status, how long you've lived in the state, if you are employed part-time or full-time, and then also like your accolades, what you've done in college and what you're doing now, and everything that builds your resume. And so then there's a selection process. And this year they had quite a few girls apply and compete for the position. So, yeah, it's really competitive.
Well, congratulations. What does Miss Black Tennessee have to do? You have to walk around with that sash all the time and do the pageant way. What does Miss Black Tennessee have to do?
Well, when you have a title in an organization such as Miss USA, Miss Black USA, then essentially you are a community service, like representing your community, the state, and so you roll out programs, and then you're the face of the organization as well. So my focus is to share my platform of dream, which is dedicated to reaching every achievable moment. So through the organization and through this title of Miss Black Tennessee USA, then I aim to have different community service projects throughout the state and in the city as well.
Now tell me a little bit. Tell the people where you from. Give us a little bit of your background, because
okay.
you ain't from the M. You Memphis solidified now, but give us a little bit. Where you from?
Well, I am a proud native of North Carolina. I'm from Southeast Raleigh, North Carolina. So it's a small city, but it's the capital city of North Carolina.
No, Raleigh is actually bigger than Memphis. You said it's a small. It's bigger than Memphis as far as media markets are concerned. I've been to Raleigh before. I love Raleigh, even though they got that team, NC State, our basketball team that I don't like that's in Raleigh. Tell me about your childhood.
Okay.
Parents, not children, but siblings. Yeah. Tell me, growing up in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay.
Crack-a-lacky.
Oh, wow. I love my childhood and my upbringing. Shout out to my parents, my mom and my dad. They did a lot for us. So me and my siblings, it's 5 of us. I have a sister and I have 3 brothers. So, yeah, we're pretty tight, and I'm kind of like next to the last. So my little brother, he's the youngest. But yeah, shout out to my parents, because they really made sure I had a great upbringing. When I was in school, I participated in a lot of sports in high school. So I played volleyball, basketball, softball. I ran track. I was always in like homecoming court. So I've always been like a people person back at home. But yeah, North Carolina is amazing. I love our beaches. I went to the beach a lot growing up. What else can I say?
Whatever you want to say, but I want to solidify that black king, black queen, that black king and that black queen.
Yes, my foundation is like everything for me. So that's why I have to shout out to my parents. When I think about home, I think about North Carolina, I think about my mom and my dad. My upbringing with my grandparents. I grew up in church, so, church every Sunday, Saturday, cleaning up the church, choir rehearsal, Thursday, Bible study. So I've had family just all around me, supporting me throughout my my childhood.
And talk about how important it is to have that parental support, because a lot of us out there, a lot of people out there that have one parent. Like my mom died when I was young and 11, and it was tough. So I know having both parents there, your dad and your mom in the house, just talk about how important it is to have that parental support to get you, support you and help to get to where you are now.
Well, it's very important when I think about, when you're a child, you might not always know what you want to do.
You don't.
But as you grow, you start to learn more about yourself, and you figure things out. And if you're like me, I always knew I wanted to move away from home. I always knew I didn't want to just stay, with mom and dad in Raleigh, and I wanted to see more and learn more. But in order to survive and to survive successfully doing whatever it is you want to do, foundation is important. So growing up with my mom and my dad, and just having like the morals that they instilled in me, those principles and those long conversations we would have, I think about that now because just through life challenges, through adversity, if I didn't have my mom and my dad, I wouldn't have a foundation to fall back on when things get hard, when I don't know, what decision to make or which direction to go. And so that's why I'm thankful that I did grow up in church. I might not go to church all the time, but those lessons that I learned helped mold me to where I am now. Talk
about those adversities and challenges you went through, because you seem to be a well put together young lady. You're doing some great things here in Memphis with the job that you do and your pageantry, whatever, and you play sport. But talk about, I guess a challenging time coming up, and how did that affect you and how did you get through it?
Sure. Wow. Okay. That was a really great question. When I was in middle school, so they did like they bust us and redistrict the schooling. So the kids in my neighborhood, we were used to going to like the neighborhood schools, but then when they did this, we had to go to school like outside of our community. So now we're going to other towns like Fuquay, Apex, Cary. And so if you're from North Carolina, then you know that part of town is different from Southeast Raleigh. So that was a challenge for me. That was a shift because I was so used to what I knew as far as like, my friends and how we do things and my teachers and just the school bus route, knowing where we're going to get off when the bus drops us off during in the afternoon and just all of that. But when they did this shift and I had to go to another school on the other side of town, it was really hard because I was the only black girl in a lot of my classes my 6th grade year. And I remember that because I remember how I felt like on an island by myself. And I remember telling my mom and my dad, can I please go to East Garner? East Garner was in our neighborhood. And they're like, no, we want you to go to this school to be good for you. You'll be able to, by the time you go to high school, you'll have so much that you've learned and all that. And so I'm like, okay. So I had to deal with it from 6th grade all the way until I graduated my 8th grade year. And I remember saying, I will never, ever, ever come back to this school again just because of how like isolated I felt. But through that challenge, that's why I ended up locking my hair. So I have locks. I've had locks now for about 10 years. And I locked my hair specifically for that reason because I was the only black girl. And then the other black girls that I did see didn't really want to identify with their blackness. So the kinky hair, the dark skin tones, and then also rocking what our parents brought us because we didn't always, for my mom and my dad, they weren't spending money on name brands. So I had to grow up like not wearing the Aeropostale, that Abercrombie and Finch, the, Ugg boots. I love Uggs. I buy a lot of Uggs now, but yeah. So I had to miss out on those things because my parents were just like, no. And so like I said, through that challenge, I had to love myself because my parents emphasized that. Like I said, they weren't buying the name brand. So I'm like, okay, I can't fit in with the other kids by that. I can't fit in with the other girls by like straightening my hair, perming my hair, because I decided to lock it. And I'm also like pretty tall. I was tall in middle school. I hit my growth spurt, so sometimes I was like the only one in, with the girls that was that height. So that was a challenge. I felt by myself, but like I said, through that, I that's where my self-love and appreciation came from. So I was like, Ma, I want to lock my hair. I came home one day and I told her I wanted to lock my hair, and so she was like, no, you don't. I said, yes, I do. And I remember it vividly because she used to do my hair in the bedroom, and she was like, okay, well, I'll put some braids in your hair. So she put some box braids in my hair. And I would say probably about maybe 2 weeks went by. And by that second week, she was like, come here so I can take those braids out your head. And I was like, no, Ma, I told you I want to lock my hair. And so she's like, are you for real? And I'm like, yes, I'm serious. She's like, but what about all the styles? Don't you want to style your hair and, put braids and whatever, the curls? And I was like, well, I can still style my hair with my locks. And I remember her looking at me like, what? Because my mom had locks. And she didn't think that, I would ever follow in her footsteps. But yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm going to take pride in being who I am because nothing's wrong with me. And even though there may have been things or said to make me feel as if like I was wrong or in the wrong place because I was a black girl, I was like, no, I'm gonna like stand bold in this space. And so yeah, I said I'm gonna lock my hair so that any room I walk in, they remember who Devony is.
The queen. First of all, your hair is beautiful. I love the locks. Like my entire family has locks now. My youngest daughter just started on her lock journey. My wife has locks. My son has locks. I would get locks with my hair curly. Well, they hair curly too, but I love it. And I like the fact that and he knows what I talk about. See, this melanin that people act like they don't like, this worth like, let me look at the camera. Cash, give me that one shot. This melanin that it's worth $460 a gram. Gold is worth $59 a gram. See, the world knows that. We don't know that. So this magical melanin, that's why I said we magically melanated. We can two-shot again, not Cash. So I'm glad to hear that. But just talk about being in that space and being one of the only, magically melanated children, kids, students at that school. Some of the things you heard and you had to deal with and push through, because I love your self-confidence. I'm glad. I'm so refreshed to hear that you said, no, I'm going to, okay, you can't make me feel uncomfortable about my magical melanin.
Yeah.
So talk about some of the things you heard and had to deal with, because there's some young ladies out there and young men that's watching this in the same situation they got to push through.
Well, especially for my middle schoolers, because I know how it is out there. I work with middle school students, so some of the things that the kids are experiencing now, I experienced at that age. But when you're going through the natural hair process, it's not as pretty as some people would like to say, because you have to deal with the frizz. You have to deal with, like, today my hair is pretty laid, as some people would like to say, but if it's not retwisted, you will have to deal with like the puffiness, just all of everything that comes with like natural kinky black hair. And so because I was going through that natural process, and we're young in middle school, the guys would tease me a lot. So I specifically remember I can laugh about it now, but then it was no joke. I specifically remember, one of the guys I grew up with, like teasing my hair, calling them like burnt worms, or if I would have them curled in a certain way, saying that they look like curly fries, like Arby's curly fries. Mm-hmm. So just different like comments and just teasing me. And then, you're going through puberty as well at that age, so your face is changing, your body is changing. And so it was, like I remember that. I got in some trouble behind those things too.
But I'm just glad to the point that you fought through it, and it didn't break your self-confidence. It didn't make you feel like less than what you are because, this melanin is magical. And I tell people, see, our hair, we're the only people on the face on the earth whose hair grows up towards the sun. So the frizziness comes from because it's also like antennas too, it's electricity. Yes. So that's why I have frizzes out, because it's electricity. So that's how beautiful it is. So I don't believe in calling it nappy, kink. It ain't none of that. It's uniquely beautiful. And everybody know that's how I feel about it. So this little boy, where that little boy at? Where that little boy at? Where that little boy? Where he at? In North Carolina, where that little boy? What's his name? Boy, what's wrong with you, boy?
I actually don't know where any of these guys are now, but I do remember like when I was in high school and my hair started to get long and started to drop. They would say, I remember, them saying, Dev, when your hair gets long. And I want to say, like, even though I went through those things, I didn't know that I was also influencing other people and encouraging other women to embrace their natural beauty as well. So I've had my locks since middle school, but since then to now, I've had friends and women that, I haven't had any type of friendship with tell me like, Dev, I want to lock my hair. You inspired me to lock my hair. And then because of that, I've also helped other women lock their hair as well. So, I encourage everybody, like, own your space, be who you are. And I'm thankful that I was able to find that at a young age. So again, shout out to my mom and my dad, because if it wasn't for going to that middle school and being the only black girl in my 6th grade classes, it probably would have took me longer to, find my voice and to emphasize, like, we as black, we are beautiful, we are powerful, we are gods.
Yes, man, she is. Hey, has she been watching the show or something? You been watching this? Because that's all you like the epitome of black man, black woman, black team, black child, black royalty, the magically melanin. It's just, now, your journey, you played sports, all of that. Now, college, I see you what tell me about your college years.
Oh, college was amazing. Shout out to A&T North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, the greatest HBCU in the land, in the country. Okay, Aggie pride, and all my Aggies out there, when they hear this, they're going to understand that pride because it's real. But college was amazing. I want to say, like, it was an opportunity for me, again, to, like, find my voice and just grow in my confidence, and all the opportunities that I went after work for me to grow and to see, like, Devony, what is it that you're actually capable of? So, there, I studied journalism and mass communication with a concentration in multimedia journalism, because I knew that I wanted to go into sports and possibly become a sports anchor. But then I also wanted to hone in on, like, my passion and my gifts and talents. And so with that is education and teaching the youth. So I didn't specifically want to study education, but I knew with communication, I can know how to communicate across multiple different platforms. So that's the multimedia part. But I truly, like, took every inch of my 4 years, like, serious. I didn't take it for granted. I love the relationships that I created there. I am a finer woman of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And so I have a lovely line of sisters that I gained at North Carolina A&T. And then as well, like, that's where I was able to begin my pageant career. So my first pageant ever was with my brother fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma fraternity.
Who? Who? Them dudes be wearing them blue boots, trying to be like the Qs.
Phi Beta Sigma fraternity Incorporated.
Right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead. You good. Go ahead.
Yes. So shout out to the Noble men. They are amazing.
Keep. Go ahead. I'm. Goddamn copycats. Go ahead.
Y'all hear this?
Copycats. Now, before we get deep into the pageant.
Yes.
I want to, cause I always stress how important HBCUs are.
They are so important, y'all.
Now, cause at some point the PWIs didn't want us there, so we started. The HBCUs got started. Now, it's not only is great for the culture, it's great for our growth, it's great for us being together, learning about each other and learning with one another. And I love the fact that HBCUs are back up now. I played football and I had several scholarships to major D1 schools. And I visited Tennessee State, but the only reason, because my wife, she was my girl, she was going to school there, so they was gonna pay me to come. I was like, I don't need to go out. I'm trying to see her. So if I had to do it over again, I love Memphis State, University of Memphis, but I would have gone to an HBCU. Just talk about how important that is, and just because we need to be taught our culture, some of our real history. Just talk about how important that was and has been for your growth.
Yeah, so I advocate for all HBCUs. It's truly a family, and I think like commonly like that's what we share. And a lot of people who are alumni have graduated from from HBCUs, they will say the same thing, that it's a family, and your professors, they care about you, they invest in you. I remember, when you're in college, you go through so many different things, so many different challenges, and they understand. Mm-hmm. They see you as human, and they know like that you are working towards your success, your future success, and creating that for yourself. And so I can truly say, like, my professors, they invested in me. They cared about me. I could go to their office, talk to them about anything if I needed to, extra help on my assignments. And so I don't want to say they hold your hand, but they realize that when you leave those four walls of your university, the world does not look like your HBCU. So while you're there, they want to love on you, they want to build you up, and they want to encourage you. So through that, it's going to be hard. There's going to be some tough love, because you might not have all of those professors that are going to email you if you didn't come to class and say like, hey, where are you? I didn't see you in class today. Is everything okay? You might not get that from your PWI, but from your HBCU.
No, you don't. you don't.
From your HBCU, you will. And I attest to that, because I remember like having professors. I'll share this, my senior year was a hard year because we went through the pandemic. So I am the pandemic class, the quarantine class, I think they like to call us. So I didn't really get to have my graduation, unfortunately. I don't want my parents to see me. But yes, and so through that, I bombed a class. That was my first class that I had ever felt, and it took a toll on me, literally. So I'm right at the end mark to graduate. I got my cap ready, already ordered my cap and gown, ready to walk across the stage. And then I have this one class that I just can't get over. If it wasn't for the team of professors that I had in the communications department, I probably wouldn't have been able to graduate on time. And so they were there for me, and they understood. And across the country, they did change like the grading scale to accommodate the changes that we were going through virtually with having to do that transition. And so, they did that at A&T. But literally, like my professors, they had my back, and they have your back even after you graduate.
Because they've been where you are, and they know, the support that we need. Because people can sympathize, but only we can empathize with our struggle and what we go through. So they know that. That's why I'm a huge proponent for HBCUs. Now, the pageantry. Now, what made you get into the pageantry? Because you athlete, sports, then pageantry. What made you, you can say, I guess, what that group you was talking about. You was getting the party. Talk about what made you get into the pageantry.
Okay, so I can walk you through the storyline.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I'll go back to like middle school, like doing debutante balls, the green and white ball. Shout out to Johnston County. That's the country. Oh man, I forget. You guys are not.
This worldwide though. Everybody watching be like, what the hell is Johnston County? But Johnston County gonna be happy though.
Okay. Johnston County, and Miss Janice. Miss Janice was a lady who dedicated herself to the youth in Johnston County, and so that's where I started, like doing debutante balls and just knowing how the pageant system works, and just the elegance and the poise and the grace, knowing how to walk, knowing how to wave, knowing how to walk in your dress. So that's where it all began. But I would say for actual like competing in pageants, when I got to college and I realized that I wasn't going to play sports anymore, I was like, Dev, I still need to use my gifts and my talents. And I do that, you know. So I'm like, okay, what are you going to do? And I started to think, like, what is it that I can participate in college that will allow me to use all of what God has given me? And that's my focus. Like, God, you've given me so many gifts, so many talents, and I want to be able to use that while I'm here on this earth. Why not? Why let it go to waste, you know? Yeah. And so that's another good thing about HBCUs. There's so much that you can get involved in. There's so many different clubs and just different teams you can join. And so I was like, okay, the fraternity, they were having a pageant, and of course, like the Qs and
I'm sorry, my bad. God, go ahead, my bad.
The Qs, the Kappas, you know, the other frats, they were having their pageants as well. But on my campus, you know, the Sigmas, they really ran the yard as far as service and just really like showing their face and being president of different clubs and organizations. And so I was like, I wanna represent what they represent. You know, I would want to be their queen because of all of the great work that they do. And to me, representation is so important. Like, you can have a name, you can have a title, but like how you carry yourself and how you wear your colors is super important. And so I was like, well, I'll do that pageant because then I know that I'll be able to, you know, compete and just use my gifts and my talents. So I just didn't want to give up on that. And so I'm a singer. I can sing. I can't really dance, but I love being on stage. Ever since I was a little girl, I did talent shows in middle school and just all of that. And my parents, they encouraged it. So I remember going to audition for American Idol and trying to audition for The Voice and The Four and just different shows like that. And so they encouraged it. But when I got to college, I'm like, okay, that part of my life is over with, but I still want to be able to have a platform to emphasize like everything it is that I have and whatever story it is I want to share. And so that began my journey with pageantry, and it's been amazing. I love it, and I still have a reigning state title in North Carolina.
Superstar. Now with Miss Black Tennessee, now what's the next step? Because I know, tell us about the dream and tell us about that platform and what you're really pushing for and what you're vetting for, and tell us, you know, exactly what you got going on with that, because now next is what, Miss Black USA?
Yes, next is the national competition in Washington, D.C., and that's when we will compete, me and the host of the other girls will compete for Miss Black USA. And so my platform is Dream, like I said, which means dedicated to reaching every achievable moment. And so through my platform and performing on stage, I want to be able to like emphasize that through my talent, my question and answer, my formal wear walk. So like everything has to fit the theme and fit the platform and what it is that I'm emphasizing. And so another reason why I did pageants and why they're so important to me and what it is I want to do on the national stage in Washington, D.C., this gives me the opportunity to share my message across the country. Like, I can broaden what it is I have to say to the youth, to the Black community outside of just Tennessee, outside of Memphis, outside of North Carolina, but I can reach the other states as well, Georgia, Virginia, you know, the whole entire country. And so it's important to me that everybody realize they have a purpose. Like, you were here and you wake up every day. Why? And for what? To do what? And so in order to like tap in that or to live out your fullest potential, it's important that you remain dedicated to reaching every achievable moment. It's important that you hold on to your dreams, that you have a focused mindset. And not only just a focused mindset, but a grounded mind, body, and soul, because that's what's going to help you fight those struggles in life, go through those different challenges, and you know, get yourself back up again when you feel like you can't. because you have a focused mindset, because you've built a strong soul to fight through those things that people say, and those, relationships that probably didn't go well, or that test or quiz that you thought meant so much to you. You just have to be grounded. So that's my platform, Dream. And it's the acronym, remain dedicated to reaching every achievable moment.
All praise to the Most High. Now, what's your job here in Memphis? What do you do?
Oh, here in Memphis, I am a youth specialist with the Memphis Office of Youth Services. So I love what I do. We serve the city here, the youth here in the city of Memphis through community service, tutoring programs, life skill courses. So I specifically teach life skill courses. So just knowing how to work within yourself and your environment. And so, it's fun. I really love what I do. I love the team that I work with, and we do a lot of great work. Right now, we have our summer camp going on. There's 2 parts, summer part 1 and part 2, but it's specifically a leadership camp. So we want our students to be prepared to go back to school in the fall and have those skills that they might not have gained in school, during the regular school year. So right now, for my 8th graders, upcoming 8th graders, they are learning how to do cursive, writing cursive. We're working on grammar and things like that. So it's really enriching. It's fun.
Under the great leadership of Ike Griffin.
Yes, I redirect.
Omega Sci-Fi member Ike Griffin. Original gold boot wearer Ike Griffin. Not blue boots, gold boots.
Okay.
So that's outstanding now. As far as going back to Miss Black USA, how can people support you?
Oh, yes. So I would love for people to support me through voting. So People's Choice Voting just started June 1st. So you can go on the website, www.missblackusa.org. And so you'll find under contestants, you can start voting for Devone, Miss Black Tennessee. And so basically that guarantees me a position within the top finalists. And so also you can support me through my GoFundMe link. So if you want to donate and help get some of those supplies that I'll need to successfully compete, then that link is on my social media as well. My Instagram is G for my last initial .dev, DEVVV. And then also I have my site on there. So it's multiple ways that you can support me. But vote for me, and then you can also donate as well.
Trust me, Mr. ISF Productions, Mr. Cassius McGowan, he's going to make sure all that information is placed on here so when people can see. But anyway, Mom, Dad, what's your mom and dad name? Mr. and Mrs. Gainey. Great job. Mr. and Mrs. Gainey?
Yes.
I'm finna say, it's okay. Mr. Okay. Great job. Great job. Very, very impressive young lady. You remind me of one of my daughters because they're, smart and well thought out of. But I wish you all the best. Absolutely great interview. She can't stop looking at the camera, Cass. She's really a pageant.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. I love y'all.
And Miss Janice is like, she made some good Kool-Aid.
Miss Janice. Oh, my goodness.
Did she make good Kool-Aid? Y'all drink Kool-Aid in North Carolina?
Yes, we do.
Cherry, what kind? Cherry or grape? Okay. Black folks love black folks. Love them.
We're really black. We don't even call it cherry. We just say red.
That's what we call it. You know what? Miss Gainey, that's what I'm talking about. But anyway, Miss Janice, your mom and dad, great job. Very impressive young royal. I wish you all the best. I'm pretty sure you're going to win. You're already representing Tennessee well, even though Memphis is not a part of Tennessee. So next time you have to run for Miss Black Memphis. Because Memphis is the state of Memphis and the city of Memphis. But in this, Tennessee is cool.
Yes, and I also want to say, I moved to Memphis right after graduating because I wanted to dedicate myself to nonprofit and just literally serving our youth and just letting them know what it is that they need to know in order to succeed and survive out here. Because some of them might not know what's outside of Memphis, North Memphis, South Memphis, or wherever it is that they're from. And so I want to say, I love y'all. I thank you for treating me like family. And the grind is real.
The grind is real. Well, Miss Devone Gainey, I appreciate your outstanding job. Thank you for joining the Doc Holliday Show. I wish you all the best. I'm pretty sure you're going to be extremely successful in everything that you do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And that's going to do it for another great episode of the Doc Holliday Show, where we love to uplift black man, black woman, black teen, black child, black royalty, the magically melanated. Till next time, we out. Good job, Mr.
Oh, my goodness. Was that okay?